Falco, you're not even a has-been. You're a never was. Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast. We are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies, and we just crossed the picket line, similar to the douchebag quarterback in The Replacements. I am your host, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for listening to us for episode 85. Before we get started with the movie discussion, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go in the paint to our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Geiger, in your opinion, what is the best way to threaten someone without actually saying out loud the words, "I'm going to stab you"?
Just do it through hand motions, because there's no way in a court of law someone could say, well, he made his finger look like a knife, because you could object, say, no, his finger looked like a penis. It could be a pin. It could be pretty much any fictitious animal that you want it to be, like a unicorn or something. There's no way that would pass in a court of law. But as me and Cycly know, if I ever said I'm going to fucking kill you, I'm going to serve some time. Even he couldn't get me out of that one.
I think you're at the point, though.
They overcooked my steak, so.
You're the guy where it's like, all right, we've been called over to your house too many times, so we just have to assume the worst when we get that phone call again. What's the line in Reno? Who's the guy in Reno 911? Is it Nick Swartzen's character? No, it's the dude at the whorehouse who they keep being like.
It's like I called.
Now we have been. I called you this
time.
If there's no employees must wash hands sign in the bathroom, that's stated in the law.
You're in a whorehouse, but you still got to be clean whores.
Yeah. Speaking of clean whores, Banner, how long you think, since you're the mad scientist, before robots take over the world and eliminate human life as we know it, including all the whores?
Negative, 15 years.
So it's already happened.
Yeah. I mean, life as we know it, you used to have sex with a human, right? Well, now they have blow-up dolls. Who makes those dolls? Machines?
Whoa. Deep. All right. This is not a technology podcast. Probably for that reason. If you have not listened to our show before, even if you have, you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life.
And you can buy them on Amazon. Machine.
Can you really
listens to us? You can buy anything
really
on Amazon. You can probably buy human meat on Amazon.
I
think
think
if you
sex robots, but are they in the United States? I thought they were just overseas somewhere.
You can get overseas shipping.
That's a Japanese thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
All right. We start every episode off with a thing called chest day, which is the most important thing in any bro's life. And today we're introducing a new segment. It is our movie month bro off. So what this is we take 2 movie months from any time that's ever taken place. I think we decided, just because of times that we've been alive, we'll start from 1990 on. And we pit the top 3 movies at the box office from each of those months up against each other and see which month wins 2 out of 3 matchups at least to be declared the better movie month. And Banner is going to help. Actually, by help, I mean you have to do this because I'll fuck it up. But he is going to be keeping our standings of all these matchups as we go. So eventually, after we do enough of these, we'll be able to definitively say this movie month has never been beaten. Like a random month in 99 or 2005. Banner, is that the goal, basically, to find out what the greatest movie month in the history of Earth is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've on this pod debated. I mean, we talked in 2017. This is the best movie year. And then within that year, we talked about the best month. We've talked about 94 being a great year and 97 being a great year. So this is how we're going to actually solve that world problem. Well, I think we've come up with a pretty good, relatively unbiased scoring system. Box Office is one of them. And then we're going to have some top internet websites, their scoring of those movies. But then obviously we're just self-centered bros. So our opinion does matter for a third of the scoring. It's kind of like the BCS. The coaches poll does matter.
Yeah. And Geiger, this was your idea. You said, let's solve the best movie month first, and then we can focus on world peace, right?
Yeah. I mean, world peace, it's probably not going to happen, but this is doable. We could do this.
I think every
I
motivational...
see a clear path on this. I'm actually I have a lot of confidence in this. There's no fucking way world peace can happen. No fucking way.
We
have too many differences.
Every management book you ever read, what's the first thing it says about making a goal? Has to be attainable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, push yourself, but let's be realistic here.
Shit, I opened the episode asking how can I stab someone and get away with it. I don't think world peace is on the horizon.
I can go on a jog every morning at 5 a.m. I'm not going to run like a 4-4. Come on. Let's be honest. It's just not going to fucking happen. I'm fatter than fuck.
That's true. You're massive. Hashtag Matt's fat.
All right. I'm going to throw in one more caveat, too. We had talked about the top 3 movies at the box office. Now, you have to take that one with an asterisk here. It's not necessarily the top movie at the box office. It had to have been released in that month. So let's say a movie was released February, but it was still the top movie in the box office in March. That will not be debated. It has to have been released in March. Yeah, that movie would get debated in February.
On Brothology. Rain Man was like the top movie for 3 months, but it was only released in December. But it was like top movie in February.
And to that point, let me reveal the 2 months, although if you've seen the title, you know what they are. Today we are pitting March of 2017 versus March of 2016. And the reason Banner brought that up, I believe it was one of these 2 months, I can't exactly remember, but Deadpool was still #1 at the box office, but it was released in February, the month before. So it will be excluded from our list. Now we will pit the third highest grossing movie from each month against each other first. And in order to win the matchup, you must get 2 of these 3 points. So the first point that will be awarded in each matchup is, as we said, the box office. The second point is we will draw from a random assortment of the 5 Bro 4 Squad criteria that I have in this little blue bowl in front of me. And the bros will vote. So
why does the bowl have to be blue?
It doesn't have to be. It just is. I don't notice things like color, so until you said that, I didn't even know.
Maybe it'll transition into red next episode.
Yeah, maybe it identifies as a Red Bull. So whichever movie the 2 out of 3 bros pick based on the criteria, that movie gets a second point. And if a third point is still needed, if the matchup is tied, like Banner said, we've said that the fan vote or the rest of the world's opinion matters, and we have done the legwork of looking up each movie's rating on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Letterboxd, and whichever one has the highest 2 out of 3 wins. So let's reveal the number 3 seeds versus each other. Banner, do you want to tell the people who is fighting and for which respective month?
All right. Coming out of the green corner, we have 2016, March of 2016, the third highest grossing movie was 10 Cloverfield Lane. And it grossed about $72 million in the box office, which actually surprises the shit out of me.
These are, I believe, international box office, right? I can't remember what we looked up.
I think that's what we decided to do, yes.
Yeah, I think they are.
And coming out of the orange corner, third highest grossing movie in March of 2017 is Boss Baby, which this surprises me as well. $175 million.
That's how I know as a society we have a problem, that the Boss Baby made $175 million.
It made over $100 more million than 10 Cloverfield Lane.
So pretty good flick.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did see it.
Banner recommended it to me, and I was not disappointed. Unlike a lot of the movies he's recommended to me, and I've wanted to just kill myself.
Hey, I knew I was going to hit on at least one of them eventually.
Actually, not that bad. It entertained me. Actually.
It is entertaining. It's very entertaining.
So, Boss Baby wins the point, and it's up 1-0. So I guess I don't really need to ask this question, but you guys aren't surprised that Boss Baby made that much money?
I'm not. I mean, I don't think in that month. First off, it was a stacked month for movies, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But as far as kid movies go, that was one of the only ones. And what else are you going to do with your kids in March of 2017 but take them to the movies?
I think, and we'll see this especially in the next matchup, but I loved 10 Cloverfield Lane. I know Cycly loves it. I think it is the best Cloverfield movie, although that's not really a franchise. Listen to our Cloverfield Paradox review and listen to us get thoroughly fucking confused. But it fell victim to the box office point of it is a rated R movie, and it's not easy, as we're going to see in the next matchup, to win at the box office, even if you're a better film, if you're rated R. So I feel like we have to have it in the criteria because like some movies have to be recognized for that. But 10 Cloverfield Lane, just to be on this list for a spring month in March, I think it deserves a tip of the cap.
And I think it's a great movie as well. I enjoyed it. I actually saw that one in theaters, which you guys know I don't like those kind of movies, and I enjoyed it. I was happy I did it.
If you want to be creeped the fuck out by John Goodman, then
God, I know.
A guy who we have traditionally not seen in those type of roles, I think you'll enjoy it. The ending is a little polarizing. Without spoiling it, Boehner, did you like the ending of it?
I did. I will say though I was very confused by it, which I think anytime that a movie has Cloverfield in the title, you can just assume I'm gonna be confused by the end of the movie.
That's fair. All right. The second matchup. Boehner, would you like to tell the people who is competing?
All right.
Or no, sorry. I'm sorry. We have to go to our second point.
Oh, second point. Geiger, of these two movies, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Boss Baby, which one did you... Oh,
I have to draw.
I forgot. We got to draw.
Right.
It's a work in progress.
Those of you listening at home, yeah, this is it's preseason for us,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Yeah, I wanted to do the get it on, but we're so far in it. We'll edit all this. We'll clean it up when it's the regular season.
Yeah, but I'm keeping this in the podcast episode because people at home are like, God damn it, you said there's a second point.
People think we're perfect the first try, and we are. This is proof.
Hopefully it's like a band where like only real musicians realize that they missed an entire riff, and most people are just like, yeah, it sounds good to me. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so the Boss Baby is up 1-0 on 10 Cloverfield Lane, and we are going to now debate the story and the plot of these two movies. So, the plot of 10 Cloverfield Lane, according to IMDb, after a car accident, a woman is held in a shelter with two men who claim the outside world is affected by a widespread chemical attack. And the Boss Baby could not be more fucking different. The plot is a suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying baby pairs up with his 7-year-old brother to stop the dastardly plot of the CEO of Puppy Co. So, Geiger, who gets your point for story and plot between the Boss Baby and 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Boss Baby, it's Pixar, right?
No,
DreamWorks.
It's DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, wow. Well, it's right up, I was going to say Pixar's alley, but DreamWorks has some good movies too, I guess. Check out our, we did a tournament
Pixar
on that,
versus the world.
if you're into that sort of thing. But Boss Baby has a really cool premise, dude. Honestly, if you've seen it, I was laughing my ass off like the first hour. It's Alec Baldwin does a fantastic job as a voiceover. I'm giving it to Boss Baby. It's a very good movie.
All right, 1 point to Boss Baby. One more point, and not only does it win story plot, wins the whole matchup. Banner, I'll let you go second.
Well, he's going to give it to Boss Baby.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He better not fucking give it to Boss Baby.
You should probably go first then.
I mean, it's so... You think it's creative, and then you see that they took the Glenn Ross scene again, and you're like, oh, okay, so you can't even like fully commit to the creativity here.
Yeah,
I like... It's not acting in cast, so I can't really give credit to Alec Baldwin or Steve Buscemi. The plot to 10 Cloverfield Lane, especially the last 15 minutes, it's pretty fucking mind-blowing. And it builds suspense as well as any movie I've seen in probably the last 5 years. So I got to go 10 Cloverfield Lane here. All right, Banner, disappoint me.
I will disappoint you. I am going to go Boss Baby.
It's such a banner movie.
It is, guys. I think that it's very relatable for every adult. Like because it's the whole movie is told from the point of view of the 7-year-old, right? So you're old enough to remember being a 7-year-old and having that crazy imagination that this new baby that came in is a fucking manager of a Kmart, and like that's basically what he is. And being able to play and like, oh, my world got flipped upside down, but making it work and kind of going through those trials and tribulations. Nothing against 10 Cloverfield Lane. I just think that the style of movie that it is, I'll be honest with you. I did not get confused in Boss Baby. I got confused in 10 Cloverfield Lane. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
I think you're holding the Cloverfield paradox against 10 Cloverfield Lane.
No, I don't think I am.
Well, I just want you to realize what you've done because that one single vote flipped the matchup. Because if you were to vote 10 Cloverfield Lane, it would have been tied. And if we would have gone to the internet's ratings, 10 Cloverfield Lane would have swept the Boss Baby. It has an IMDb rating of 7.2. Boss Baby is 6.3. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, 10 Cloverfield Lane is a whopping 79%. Boss Baby is 51%. And on Letterboxd, Cloverfield Lane is a 3.6. The Boss Baby is a 2.7. So I hope you can fucking sleep at night.
Oh, I can.
How much did March of 2017 pay you? Yeah. Your silence says it all.
Enough. We'll just say that.
All right, so Boss Baby gets the win for March of 2017, who is up 1-0. So, Banner, do you want to introduce the second matchup? This is going to be a very interesting one.
All right, so second matchup. I actually am shocked that we have two movies in the same genre going up against each other this quickly. And we did not plan this out, folks. We picked two movies or 2 months that were relatively new so that we could figure out what the fuck we're doing. And we have from March of 2016, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice versus March of 2017, second most grossing box office movie, Logan. So BVS versus Logan. Box office wise, BVS won.
I believe these are the box offices just in March too. For those,
not only are they both comic book movies though, but they're both tonally the same movie. I mean, obviously yes. Logan's rated R, but BVS was very fucking dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we said with 10 Cloverfield Lane, this is where it just hurts Logan, where it's not accessible to as many people. Like Banner said, you're not going to take, I mean, unless you're really raising your kids right, you're not going to take your 4 or 5-year-old to go watch Logan jam his claws through someone's head.
In the first 5 minutes of the movie. And before we get going, I don't know if you guys have figured it out. BVS won the box office matchup. 330 million to 226 million. So again, over $100 million swing in those two movies. And again, I believe that was just in the month of March.
Right. So for a rated R movie to do 226 in a month is a testament to how fucking awesome Logan was. Now, listen to our review for both of these, but especially BVS, because on this pod, we're actually pretty big fans of that movie. I know it has definitely ruffled a lot of feathers in the fanboy community, but Geiger and I especially are pretty big defense. Although it's not perfect by any stretch, a la Jesse Eisenberg, trying to ruin it to the best of his ability. He just can't do it. The Flash is hardly in it, so that doesn't even really affect me. All right, so BVS is up 1-0 on Logan, and I will randomly draw and see what Brofor Squad criteria we will debate for the second point.
Acting, story, best scene, impacts on pop culture, rewatchability.
It is acting and cast between Logan and BVS. Now, I don't need to go through and recite these because we both know them like the back of our hand. Geiger, I'll toss it to you first. Acting and cast.
Really? Damn it.
BVS or Logan? Just think of Jesse Eisenberg.
I know that's the problem is like, you know, on a team, do you want to pick like, you know, LeBron, who is the best player on the floor, but he also has the worst player on the floor? Hugh Jackman does a fucking fantastic job. There's just so many supporting casts. Like, it's almost like a LeBron team versus like just a fucking loaded Golden State team. BVS, everyone, I thought Cavill did a good job. Affleck does a great job. Jeremy Irons. I'm gonna have to go BVS because they're just so. Lawrence Fishburne.
Wow. What?
BVS, dude. Everyone does such a great job. I think.
If I can quote Step Brothers,
out, yes, but everyone. Affleck. That was probably the greatest fucking Bruce Wayne Batman I've ever seen on film. Ever. He's better than Bale.
To quote Will Ferrell from Step Brothers, you're fucking high.
And Logan has Hugh Jackman, who gives a great performance. He always does. And Patrick Stewart gives... Actually, never mind. Can I switch it?
Sure.
I forgot about Patrick Stewart.
And Daphne Keane.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Logan. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with Logan. Because Patrick Stewart gives like an Oscar-winning performance. And so Affleck does a great job as not Oscar worthy. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart could have been up for Oscars, so yeah, I'll go with Logan. Sorry.
Yeah, their dynamic in that movie is fucking unreal. Banner,
Just
I mean,
edit make it seem like I was confident.
Banner, we don't need to waste.
I love BVS, so.
It's for me. It's Logan across the board. Again, I think he had two performances that could have been nominated for an Oscar.
It's Logan across the board, and I think one thing that it has to go mentioned is that Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, they had 20 years together to develop that relationship, and you can see it on screen.
The crazy thing is, the villain in Logan, played by Boyd Holbrook, yeah, he's fine, but like, I don't even think of him ever when I think of that movie. Just because Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart are so fucking good.
Yeah. To me, the movie's about the journey to the end. It's not about the villain, which is I'm getting teared up talking about it. So Logan wins that point, right? 1-1.
Is that Leviticus you just quoted?
I think so.
He's not really dead. I mean, Hugh Jackman's like eating right now.
But probably not because of the shape that he keeps his body in.
I mean, it's like a chicken breast and rice, but.
All right. So Logan with the clean sweep. It is tied 1-1, meaning that in order to win this second matchup and put it into a decisive final game between March 2016 and 2017 with the number 1 seeds, we have to go to the internet. So IMDb is the first of 3 points. BVS has a 6.5 versus.
Just trip off the Band-Aid, Jeff. We know what the internet did to
I mean,
BVS. We know.
Logan is just insane on the internet. People love it. So Logan wins the first point on 8.1 to 6.5 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes, even the audience score, it's actually not that bad for BVS. It has a 63%. The critics, I think, was like a 14. So fuck them. Logan has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that already wins the matchup. And then on Letterboxd, BVS has a 2.5 out of 5. Logan has a 4.1. So another clean sweep there. So Logan gets the third and final point and beats BVS 2-3. Anyone surprised by the internet's reaction? I'm actually kind of surprised that the audience score for Batman vs Superman is so high, and kind of relieved to see that.
I'm not, because critics didn't really understand the movie. And the movie, if you watch the extended edition, is fine. If you have a problem with Eisenberg, that's perfectly fine. I didn't like him, but I don't think he like totally ruined the movie for me where I'm like, I cannot watch this movie. But
it was nice to see them trying something new and going in a different direction with Eisenberg as being junior. I think it didn't work, but it was refreshing that there was a little bit of new ideas getting floated out there.
I think if Cranston was in that role, I think it would be 8 out of 10 at least.
We need to stop talking about that because it hurts my heart every time when I think of the fucking watermelon cherry Jolly Rancher scene with Jesse Eisenberg versus what Bryan Cranston could have given us. It's just like it's
like the hot chick in your homeroom that you go back to your 10-year reunion and she's married with 2 kids. She's like, I always kind of had a crush on you. You're like, really? Fuck, I was always scared to talk to you. It just hurts you to know.
Yeah, and you're like, why are you telling me this now? So unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, depending who you bet on, March 2017 beats March 2016 because it's won 2 out of the 3 matchups. But just to see if the spread gets covered, Banner, who are the 1 seeds for each of these 2 months to compete against each other?
All right. So March of 2016, number 1 seed coming in at $341 million. The Jason Bateman starring cartoon Zootopia.
Wow. What was that, Geiger? Fuck yeah. So you can like Boss Baby, but not Zootopia. A little inconsistent.
Wow.
Banner, who's Zootopia going up against?
Zootopia is going up against the juggernaut of Beauty and the Beast, coming in at $504 million from March of 2017. Check out our review.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour.
I didn't realize Beauty and the Beast made $504 million just in March. God, even when these live action movies aren't the greatest thing on earth, they still fucking crush. Zootopia was kind of like a late bloomer. Sorry.
It was, and I'm actually, whenever I saw that Zootopia was the number 1 movie in March, I was surprised. Guys, Zootopia beat Batman versus Superman. in the day and age when superhero movies are all the rage, and it's a Batman movie, Zootopia beat it at the box office.
Yeah, that's pretty.
A movie about a fox and a rabbit hunting a lion.
I'm not sure exactly when they came out, so Zootopia might have had like an extra week in March, but still, that's insane for a big budget.
It came out like March 26th. I do remember that.
So it's not as impressive, but it still is impressive. All right.
Tattooed on my skin.
That's a little weird. Right next to pain. Is that above or below the pain don't hurt tattoo?
It's below it. It still like hurts to touch it too. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that might be infected.
Happened 6 years ago. Yeah, it's infected as fuck. Can't even touch it.
And it stings like a bitch. But
in the shower.
All right. So Zootopia wins the first point against. Beauty and the Beast wins the first point against Zootopia. So March 2017 is up 1-0, and the Broforce Squad criteria that we will debate for
Hopefully
the second
it's Impact.
Point
we get all three of them.
It is Impact, and it's not even rigged. I'm showing it to you guys. So, which of these two movies had the bigger impact on pop culture, or just left the bigger impact on us going forward? Banner, why don't you go first?
I'm gonna say Beauty and the Beast. But this is the second live action movie that we got, right? We got Jungle Book.
If you count Maleficent, which is not a direct remake.
Oh, and then I guess Alice in Wonderland. Okay, I guess there was quite a few of them, but this was the first one that was actually good.
Yeah.
I thought that this was.
And they didn't do this one with like the real music. You know what I'm saying? Like Jungle Book.
That's the thing. They didn't change the story. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They said, "Look, Beauty and the Beast is a great movie as is. Let's just put new people in it." Emma Watson, I think, finally broke that mold of being Hermione Granger. And who the fuck knew she could sing? That was awesome. So I think this. Yeah, I mean, she did amazing. So that being said, I think that had a bigger impact than, like I said before, a movie about a fox and a rabbit chasing or hunting a lion.
I got to say, Beauty and the Beast is lucky that acting and cast didn't get drawn, especially for you, because the mere presence of Josh Gad alone, I think, would have doomed it. And outside of Emma Watson, I really don't like much of that other cast.
No, other than Emma Watson, it would have lost miserably.
You don't like wasn't Magneto?
No. Neither.
I mean, he was fine. I mean, he was
Cogsworth. Yeah,
he was in it for like 5 seconds. So was Ewan
McGregor's French accent was a little rough, but
it wasn't.
That's not what the category is. The category is impact, and I'm gonna send it to Geiger for a decisive third vote because to me, Zootopia, I think it was at a point where I was like kind of starting to wane with some of these animated movies. Like, all right, dude, we get it. Like, I've seen all this stuff before, and the fact that Idris Elba plays Rhinoceros. And Jason Bateman plays a sarcastic fox who's a detective. Like that is so creative and left such an impact on me when I left that I was like, all right, I'm kind of back into animated movies again. And I know we're not talking acting cast, but like when you see people like J.K. Simmons do movies like this, you just realize, okay, these are a bigger deal than we actually make them out to be. And I just thought it was really clever. And it stuck with me more than Beauty and the Beast, because after I left Beauty and the Beast, I was kind of like, I enjoyed it, but I was kind of like, I don't know if I really am going to get that excited about the next Disney live action remake. So I'll go Zootopia, tied up at 1. Geiger, how about you?
I watched Beauty and the Beast a couple weeks ago. I'll go with Banner that it was the first good one. I'll go a step further. I think it's the best one they've done. I think Beauty and the Beast is the best live action movie they've done.
Wow.
What's weird is I think a second would be Aladdin.
Yeah.
Not that the bar is set too high, but I think it's the best one they've done. I really enjoyed it. It stayed true to the story. The music was...
They added one song, was all.
Different. Yeah. They had a couple more songs.
Same.
I thought it was very well done.
Different.
Same, but different. But yeah, man, Beauty and the Beast. It's not that bad. I would consider it like a B-, maybe a B movie. It's fine.
The Gaston song?
They didn't fuck with the original story, which is extremely important in my mind. I mean, that's what we grew up on. The main actors
that mattered, I thought, did fine. I thought Emma Watson did really well. I liked how Beast looked. So, yeah.
I thought Beast looked really good. Yeah. All right. Beauty and the Beast wins Impact, and it wins the matchup. by winning 2 out of 3 and basically secure, not basically, but Marie, the baguettes. It secures a sweep for March of 2017. But just for funsies.
An ass kicking.
Yeah, this is a fucking ass beating. Did not see that coming. But just for funsies, Banner, why don't you tell the people who would have won if it came down to a decisive internet vote, and if we got it right?
Zootopia would have won. I've got IMDb at an 8. I've got Rotten Tomatoes audience at a 92%, and Letterboxd at a 3.8.
And to compare that to Beauty and the Beast, which actually had some pretty high ratings here. So it had a 7.2 on IMDb, so loses to that 8.0. It had an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3.6 on Letterboxd. So it only loses by 0.2 on Letterboxd and 12 on Rotten Tomatoes. So the audience actually loved both movies, which is not as big of a surprise considering these are the 2 highest box office grosses for the month. So our first ever movie month bro off is an ass beating as March 2017 kicks the shit out of March 2016. So we will update the standings. So March 2017 has yet to be beaten in March 20. It'll also be fun with movies that have like or months that have like never won to see if they can like
the toilet bowl.
Right, who can win against each other? Like it's those college football teams that like try and schedule each other because they're just sick of getting their ass beat by like Alabama and Auburn all the time. So, all right, March 2017 beats March of 2016. Guys, tweet at us at Bro4Squad or comment below. Let us know months you want us to match up against each other. Like we said, there's a shit ton of really awesome ones in the 90s and the early aughts. Like 2008 was an incredible year for movies. I think that would be cool to match up any of those months against each other. And especially some of these Christmas months, like around Christmas season.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be some really fun ones there. So let us know the next movie matchup you guys want us to do.
Another fun one would be take the month of your birthday or the year you were born and your spouses and say which one of you guys is better.
That's combining Geiger's brothology with the bro off. It's a beautiful thing.
I need to copyright this before you fuckers just like take my idea and make it your own.
I've already copyrighted it. It's fine. Just talk to Cycly. I've already done it. It's fine.
Well,
yeah, I wish Cycly didn't block my number because I got a shit ton of ideas.
Every time I call him, though, somehow he's the only one that gets paid. It's weird.
Huh. I think your check's coming. It's just, you know, the fucking post office.
Yeah, you know, snail mail. Slow.
These guys lose everything. If you're a post office worker listening to this, don't get mad at us.
We're not. You're great.
Don't fuck with my mail, please. Because actually, I ordered a driver's license that hasn't come. It's been like a month and a half, so it's kind of pissing me off. All right, on to the next part of our show, which is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I have 4.5 things because one thing I just caught like the last 10 minutes of and have to make a comment on. Banner, how many do you have?
Hold on, my page is loading, but I think I have like 7.
All right. Considering the hours you're working, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, excuse me, 8.
Geiger, how about you?
2.
All right, Banner, why don't you do like half for yours? Geiger and I'll go and we'll come back to you. Does that work?
Yeah, that works. All right, so one of mine, real quick, watch the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Obviously, if you guys are fans of the show, you know me and Horns reviewed every episode of the latest season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just wanted to throw that out there. You guys should check that out. Kind of disappointed in the season, but check out our reviews on my full thoughts on that.
I don't know if I'm disappointed so much as I literally have no fucking idea what just happened. And not even at the point where like, oh, that's a cool, interesting way to take things. I'm just like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, no. All right. Next thing, I watched the animated show, Planet Hulk. Pretty good, guys. It's on Netflix. Has been for a while. Just hadn't got around to it. Recently,
is that 3D or 2D animation?
2D animation. Yeah.
Cool.
So for a Marvel, I mean, we always talk about DC animation just wiping the floor versus Marvel animation. This one is good. I enjoyed it. It's like a hour and 15-minute long movie. Follows the comics pretty closely. If you've read the Planet Hulk comic, but it was pretty good. Pretty well voice acted. There are some really cool spots that are exact page to screen. Like word for word, image for image, which I always personally like. It's not as impressive as when they do it live action, but still pretty cool that they were able to incorporate that. And obviously, they changed a little bit just to keep it up.
So in that, is Hulk like kind of conscious, and is he able to communicate, or is he Hulk the whole time?
Yes, he can. He can communicate. Basically,
does it start with him getting shot into space by like the?
Yes, the Illuminati shoot him into space, and that's the first. It's the first page of the comic, and also the first shot. It's them talking, like Iron Man and Doctor Strange, and all of them.
Professor X in it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty fucked up when I watched it. But they shoot him up, and they're like, "Look, Bruce, we're sorry, but we have to do this. We're sending you to a planet that there's lots of vegetation. You can't hurt anybody. There's no more fighting. You're not going to hurt anybody." And then he rips the spaceship apart, goes down a wormhole, and ends up on a planet that he ends up saving.
Yeah, why would the Hulk want to go to a place where there's no fighting?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it.
All right, guys. I've been pretty excited to tell you guys about this. I watched The Descendants and The Descendants 2. These are Disney Channel original movies that came out, I believe, 2017, 2018, and then the third one just came out. That's Family Movie Night this coming up Sunday, so I'll report back on that next week.
Real quick, Banner, before you get into this, because I'm really excited to hear this, be honest. How much of this Family Movie Night is for your daughter, and how much of it is for you? Because I know you can disguise any of these movies as it was for my daughter, but I think you have a very strong say in what gets watched.
Yeah, okay. So what these are about are basically you have all the villains get exiled to this island. So you have like Jafar, you have Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, oh my God, who the fuck is the fourth one? Evil Queen from Snow White. And they're all on there, and their kids are obviously exiled with them. Well, Beauty and the Beast's son is about to become king, and his first thing is, hey, those kids, they deserve a second chance. It wasn't their fault that their parents are fucked up. It's very similar to like Runaways.
Beauty and the Beast's son, is he beast or human?
He's human. He's human. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so he invites these four kids to come to their school off the island. Well, Maleficent has this crazy idea. You guys are going to steal the fairy godmother's wand, and then you're going to free all of us, and we're going to take over the world. And it's about the kids turning good or trying to steal the fairy godmother's wand. I think it's the best. I would say that it's the best Disney Channel original movies since the High School Musicals.
And this is also a musical, right?
Sounds really cool, actually.
This is they're really good.
But how do they make sequels to this? I don't get it.
So the second one, I don't want to spoil anything from the first one, but events happen in the first one, so then it leads into the second one. And then you can see where the third one is going. I haven't watched the third one. But it's basically about all of our favorite fairy tale villains, their kids. It's kind of like Runaways, where they get a second chance to pick for themselves right or wrong. It's a lot of fun. It is a musical. There's lots of singing and dancing. I don't think Kenny Ortega directs it, who's the same guy that did all the High School Musicals. So you know what you're getting into. I don't think the music is quite as good in the first one. The second one, the music's actually pretty good. Dancing, they are not as athletic as High School Musical, but they're a pretty close second.
So be honest with me. Don't just say what I want to hear to sell me. How much of the movie are the villain parents in? In the
first one, they're in probably about 25%. Not very much. In the second one, they're in it like maybe 5%. Yeah. So the second one is way more focused on the kids. But I'll tell you, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
Okay. And do you think they will, without spoilers, that they will be in the third one?
The parents?
Yeah.
Only because I've seen the trailer, I know they're in it in some capacity.
Okay.
So.
I can live with that.
You want me to keep going? I've got four more things. Two of them will go pretty quick.
Okay, that's what she said.
Hey, all right. So obviously this week Endgame came out on DVD. I had to watch Endgame again. Yeah, I cried again. Once I got done with
Same.
that, I was like, oh man, I should have watched Infinity War first. So then I went back, watched Infinity War, then rewatched Endgame again. So I technically watched Endgame twice, Infinity War in the middle. Watching those back to back, wow, you don't appreciate how good they did in both of them unless you watch them back to back. It's almost like Pirates of the Caribbean. You have to watch them together as a pair, in my opinion. And I would almost argue Infinity War is better than Endgame.
Man, Endgame has the best scene of any movie I've ever seen in my life, but Infinity War I think is a better, tighter movie. And I
agree.
also bought Endgame when it came out on Blu-ray on Wednesday, so look for our. I think we're gonna try and do our commentary this weekend. I know it's a long movie, but I think it could be a fun one. And imagine how drunk we could get in 3 hours.
Imagine how drunk we get in an hour. Just times that by 3.
Yeah, if you don't think we can get drunk in 40 minutes, go listen to our Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie commentary.
We did Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Exactly. All right,
All
what else,
right,
man?
guys. What have we said 2019 is?
The year of the documentary, right?
Year of the documentary. I watched another one this week.
Geiger and I have become total doc heads this year, I
I'm
gotta
a
say.
doc guy. Whatever. A doc guy.
No spoilers, but I know Geiger's got a doc coming up in his protein shake.
Let's talk doc.
Pretty excited. So this one is called Iron Cowboy. The story of the 50-50-50 triathlon. Have you guys heard of this?
What?
No.
No.
So
Someone cheated, I hope.
no, this guy did the 50-50-50 challenge or whatever is 50 triathlons in 50 states in 50 days.
No.
Yeah. This
That's
guy
that's not a challenge. If you want to make me miserable, just
yeah. So
Stupid, yeah.
basically what he did is he broke the Guinness Book of World Records for most triathlons in a calendar year, and it was like 32 triathlons in 365 days or something stupid like that.
so this is 50 consecutive days.
50 consecutive days. So he starts in Hawaii, then he goes to Alaska, then he starts in like Washington, and basically they have this RV that they drive to each state, and in every state he does a triathlon, which
Let's
is
be real quick. Let's be totally honest. If we did that, how many would we get through before we died? I would say I would literally die on like the fifth one.
no, you wouldn't even make it that far because it's a 2.5 mile swim to start.
No, I would get like last place, but I could live through like four. I'm not saying I would be in good shape at all, but I would actually physically, my body would cease to be functioning on the
Well,
fifth one.
it takes this dude like 8 hours to get through one, and he's literally the best in the business.
Well, as long as I have time to get to the next state, I think. I'm not saying I would die on the fifth.
Basically,
I
so
don't
he
think I'm.
does. It's like a 2.5 mile swim. Then it's like 112 miles on the bike, and then a 20 and a marathon, 26 miles run. He
Oh.
does one of those every day for 50 days. On like with the travel and everything, he's getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep in between.
There's no. Is there a doctor in this documentary who's like, dude, this like supersized me, but the opposite?
Yes, there is. He has like a coach and a nutritionist, and he like has to get IVs because he's basically dying. His feet are basically just bloody nubs because he has so many like nasty blisters and like wet fungus feet. Like it is insane. He can't. There's one scene where he's trying to eat eggs and he literally can't keep his hands still. It looks like he has. What's that thing that Michael Jake Fox has?
Parkinson's.
It looks like he has Parkinson's because his body is so just fucked up from doing this.
I have no interest in seeing this. I'm so uncomfortable.
It was an hour. It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna put this on and probably get bored after 5 minutes. And I watched the entire hour thing. Like,
So does he finish it or does he actually die?
yo, he finishes it. He actually does it. There's no long-term health problems that he had, even though he was pretty fucked up during it. Um, I think it was when was the big hurricane that was in Houston? Was that last year or the year before?
I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So that's when he did it. And he, because of that hurricane or those hurricanes that came through, he had to do a couple of them inside. So he did them on like in a pool, on a treadmill, and on like a cycling bike. How miserable does that sound?
Yeah, the only thing worse than doing a triathlon is doing one on all stationary equipment.
Yeah. So yeah, Year of the Doc. This doesn't help it, but it was a documentary in the year.
God, what was that on?
Netflix.
It's called 50,
Okay.
50,
It's called
50,
Iron
50.
Cowboy: The Story of the
Cowboy.
50-50-50 Triathlon.
It should be called fucking Psychopath.
Yeah. He's got these two dudes that actually look like a lot of fun that like help him. And they're like each day they're like, I'm just gonna pick one of these to do. So like they'll swim with him and they won't do anything else. Or they'll just do the bike ride with him, but they won't do anything else.
Then they'll get out and eat beef jerky, and he's like,
Yeah.
still has to keep going.
And he's like having to suck down like the applesauce packets that I feed my daughter that taste like dog shit.
All right, interesting. Anything else that you watched?
Last thing, American Hangman. Horns, I talked to you a little bit about this.
This I was interested in. Boehner,
right.
Geiger Boehner gave me the old barbecue sell over a beer for this movie. We were drilling. I was like, "Have you seen American Hangman?"
All right. So this movie is basic. So this guy kidnaps a judge and essentially puts him on trial. This judge.
This isn't a documentary. Just so
this is not a documentary. Although I'd be even more interested if it was.
Oh yeah, of course.
So he kidnaps a judge, puts him on trial, basically broadcasts it over the internet, and says this guy put an innocent man to death. You know how I know? He put this guy to death for the murder of this little girl when I killed this little girl, and he pled his case why he was the killer, and then said, look, just by like everybody else, he deserves a trial. But he won't be put on trial because he's a judge, so I'm going to do it. So he basically posts it on Facebook and lets people vote on whether he's guilty or not. And the whole time the police are trying to figure out where they're at.
And does he claim that if the guy, I'm sorry, I might have missed this if you said it, if the guy's found guilty that he's going to execute him?
Yes. He said if he's found guilty, I'm going to execute him just like he had the other dude executed.
We should do this with referees when they blow calls.
Yeah.
Like, text in your vote. Was that PI?
Yeah. There'd be a lot of murder.
If not.
But I bet they do a better job at their job.
Zebras deserved it.
It's an hour. It's like an hour, 30-minute movie. It's a quick watch.
Yeah.
Very, very intriguing. I will say everything with the murderer and the judge, very, very well acted. Very, very well written. Everything with the police, horrible.
Are they like Geiger always likes to say how police and military in movies are always depicted like they can't even fucking zip their pants up after they take a piss?
Yeah. And
Actually,
yeah, it's just
good, dude. Making our military and cops look weak. That's a free spot.
It's just really bad acting, really poorly written. It's got the guy that plays President Snow in the Hunger Game movies.
Yeah.
He's the judge.
Donald Sutherland.
Yes, he's the judge.
Kiefer's dad. That's cool.
Absolutely fantastic. He does a great job.
Obviously, no spoilers, but was the ending good? Were you satisfied with the ending?
I was very satisfied with the ending. I'll say I was surprised and shocked and not surprised and not shocked all at the same time.
All right, I'm sold. American Hangman. You got anything else?
No, that was it. Light week.
Yeah. Light week. Only watched Infinity War and Endgame, which is like a combined 6 hours of movie. All right, Geiger, what do you got?
Going back to Netflix, Jeff, I don't know if you watched this. I told you to before the pod, but Screwball. Everyone needs to watch this. So it's basically, it's not Balco. It's the other big steroid ring that happened in Major League Baseball that took down Ryan Braun, Melky Cabrera, and most famously Alex Rodriguez. This was the one where Alex Rodriguez went in New York was it Mike and the Mad Dog show or whatever, and actually just broke in and just told his story and was telling about how much bullshit and MLB was trying to blackball him and everything. He had no proof that he took steroids for the first time.
It was Mike Francesa's show, and I'm guessing Francesa's like doing the show, and the guy's like, dude, I don't know why, but fucking A-Rod is here. Like,
A-Rod's here, and he's like, cool, put him on. I mean, I was just fucking talking about bullshit. Let's go. But the story is about this guy named Tony Bonka or something like that.
Tony Bosch.
Tony Bosch, yeah. So, how he started in Miami as basically just kind of a nutritionist. He'll help you with de-aging and stuff like that. And then his first client was Manny Ramirez, and then Manny got popped for roids, and he thought he was going to go to prison. But then Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett died, so the media just kind of forgot to like look and try to destroy him. And then after that, he got a ton of fucking professional athletes, and he was the steroid fucking master to him and stuff. And basically how he was tied to not really the mob, but some like kind of bad, shady gangster people, and how all of this was connected, and how A-Rod was a huge part of it is very interesting. A very interesting story. And basically how this fucking dude who considered himself a tanning professional was owed $4,000, and he's the one that blew the whistle because he's so pissed that they wouldn't pay him, and that's what took down all these athletes. Just one guy being pissed they didn't get paid. Very, very interesting.
I mean, when you work with that many fucking lowlifes, it's just a matter of time till one of them blows the whistle on you.
And the biggest thing you get from it is how in the fuck is A-Rod on ESPN and how he's like an American darling now in the face of baseball, like the commentator, because he's the biggest piece of shit in the world. Like, literally.
He is like the fakest nice guy. That's humanly possible.
He's the fakest dude.
It's kind of impressive, actually.
He cheated baseball 3 times, and now he's fucking dating J-Lo, and he's fucking doing the ESPN Baseball Tonight. He is a living, breathing new O.J. Simpson is who he is, basically. The other thing I've been watching, of course, is HBO Hard Knocks. Now, HBO Hard Knocks is one of the greatest shows ever, but whenever they finally pick your team, and I'm a Raiders fan, it brings a smile on my face, because these are all the guys I really want to see, getting to know them, getting to know their personalities. John Gruden, I will fucking defend, is probably the greatest coach that's ever been on Hard Knocks. He has the biggest personality ever. He's funny. People attract to him. He's really fun to watch. It's great TV. Hard Knocks, it's on episode 2 right now, but you have to watch it. If you watch any Hard Knocks and you enjoy it, I think this is one of the greatest seasons ever, because there's just so much going on with AB's foot, his helmet. You got Vontaze Burfict, Richie Incognito coming back from his suspension. Derek Carr, is he a good quarterback? Is he not? John Gruden coming out of the booth and coming back to coaching. It's very interesting. And the Raiders last year in Oakland before moving to Vegas.
And they sucked last year.
Yeah, and they sucked last year.
Banner, have you been watching it? I just watched the first episode right before.
Yeah, I only watched the first one. I haven't watched the second one yet. So
you saw what happened to your boy from Last Chance U?
Yes, I did. Which doesn't surprise me. Like, as soon as he was on there, I was like, oh, cool, he's on another show. He's going to get kicked off. And literally 2 minutes later, they kicked him off.
They're like, why didn't you go to treatment? He's like, no one told me. They're like, dude, if you want to make the team, you have to get your body right. This is not.
They literally just said, okay, well, leave.
I hated the first episode. The second episode is really good. The first episode, I'm like, why are we talking about Rondell Lolly for like fucking 30 minutes? Dude's not even going to make the team. Then he gets cut just because he's on Last Chance U.
That's part of what they all.
Vontaze Burfict. I want to see Joyner. I want to see somebody else.
Right, but they always have to find the guys that like might or might not make the team, because that's where the tension comes from.
And honestly, when they started filming him, they probably thought like he's the story. Like, it's just like the media. He's the story. He has an outside shot. We might be able to follow him around for a month. And then they're like, oh, we followed around for 2 days.
Got cut.
Yeah, we can't do that. Now we need to find somebody else.
Poor guy.
That's all I got, Joe.
Probably the last we'll see him unless he gets like arrested. All right. I watched 4.5 things, so I won't take too long. First thing, I've talked about it a lot on the pod, but the fiance and I watched Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift all the way through. Let me guess, you was an army brat. And I got to say a few things about this. I think I'm a huge fan and connoisseur of the Fast and Furious franchise. That's a lot of Fs. This is the 4th best one. I think it's behind Fast 5, the original, and Fast and Furious 6.
Wow.
Han?
I
Sorry.
can't disagree with that. I don't necessarily agree, but I can't disagree either.
Good. I agree with you agreeing with me. Han is so fucking cool. Like, can we all just agree with that?
Yes, he's the best character.
He's cool in all the movies, but he's really fucking cool in Tokyo Drift, especially when you know why he doesn't give a fuck about anything because of what happened. And I won't spoil it if no one's seen it, but in Fast 6. And even with Lucas Black's horrible acting and Bow Wow, his character just really not making any goddamn sense. This still has more character development than probably like the last 3 Fast and Furious movies combined. And I'm going to count Hobbs and Shaw in there. And Justin Lin, who directed this, I think we need to give him some more props as an action movie director. He's done the 4 best Fast and Furious movies. He did Fast and Furious. He didn't do the first one. John Singleton did that. But he did Fast 5, Fast 6, and this one. He did that Jeremy Renner Bourne sequel, which was pretty good. He did Star Trek Beyond. He did an episode of True Detective. Like, this guy's pretty underrated as an action director. I don't think anybody talks about him. Those are like all the, and he's coming back to the Fast and Furious franchise for the next one, which is why I kind of have hope.
We'll see.
All right, I watched a movie from 2006, which is actually a remake of an old horror movie called When a Stranger Calls.
Yeah.
This movie is so... I was going to talk about this last week because I actually watched this like 3 weeks ago, but this movie is so horrible and so awesome at the same time. And part of the reason I watched it was because Clark Gregg, who plays Phil Coulson, is in it, and Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie, is in it. Now, they have like a combined 4 minutes of screen time, but I saw their name on the cast list, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. If you want to watch a movie that tries to build up jump scares, but only actually provides you like 1 or 2 of them, one of which comes from like a fucking cat jumping out of the corner, then this is the movie for you. It's basically like an hour of this girl babysitting at a house, like creepily backing up through bedrooms that she doesn't know because she's scared. So that's my pitch for When a Stranger Calls. I watched an indie movie in theaters called The Farewell. When I describe this is going to sound like something Geiger would hate more than anything on earth. So it's a movie with Awkwafina in a serious role about a Chinese family. It's a comedy, a dramedy, whose grandmother has terminal cancer. And they all go to say goodbye to her, but they don't tell her she has cancer. They make up like one of her cousins getting married so the whole family can go visit her. Actually, that's pretty good. Not the type of movie we talk about much on the podcast. So I just wanted to say, if you're into like indie dramedies that have a lot of heart, I would recommend this. Definitely more drama than comedy. And if you hate Awkwafina, which I do, that doesn't mean you won't like this movie because she is not annoying in it. I can promise you that. All right, 1.5 more things. I saw the ending to Pretty Woman on AMC. And I got to say this, man. At the very end, the kiss that Julia Roberts and Richard Gere have on the fire escape is one of the worst movie kisses I've ever seen. So like the Spider-Man kiss where he's upside down is like on the good end. This one, it's like they're fucking attacking each other's face with their lips. It's like...
So it's not like bad in a fun way.
No. Geiger always says you can tell the movies where the 2 actors were fucking on set. I don't think anything was going on between Julia Roberts and
nothing at all. Like Julia Roberts' boyfriend was 10 feet away being like, hey,
right, yeah,
too much tongue. Too much tongue.
Brandishing a knife. Yeah, it's like Tom Cruise on the set of Batman Begins. It's like, why the fuck are you touching my wife? If go back and just rewatch the kiss, it's like, what the... They've never kissed before, which doesn't make sense because Richard Gere's been... And then the last thing I watched is on Netflix, and this is a movie that I'd seen a lot when I was a kid. My mom loves it because it's like it's very nostalgic. It's called Now and Then, and it's about a group of teenage girls growing up in the 70s. They're coming of age, and then it flashes forward to them in present day in the 90s as adults, like kind of getting together. One of them is about to give birth, so they're all like kind of reuniting. And this one I would also describe as a dramedy, maybe more drama, but if the soundtrack is fucking great, Geiger, you would love the soundtrack, but it's just like a feel good coming of age movie about the summer. And sadly, since summer was ending, I just wanted to get this watch in one more time. So now and then, if you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend it. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. All right, last part of our show, but before we close out, Banner, I think you had a question you wanted to ask.
Sire, do you have a lift, bruh?
That was pretty good. You know, it's so sad. That reminded me of Bud Light because they've just like cornered the market on medieval humor.
Yeah, they have. Which is better than do you guys remember the old Bud Why Zer commercial of the frogs?
Frogs.
Oh.
Was that a Super
nothing
Bowl
to do with
commercial?
anything. I think it.
No.
I'm sure.
What is it? Bud Light also had "What's that?" Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our question to answer "What's that?" Jesus comes to us
Finish
from
my beer. Sorry.
Sicko at Sickolandia, great Twitter handle, who asks, "What's the best/biggest catchphrase ever? I'm thinking I'll be back." Now I had to kind of steal this one because I think Banner always quotes this, but I got a bad feeling about this, which comes up in like any Star Wars. Is it in every Star Wars movie?
I think so.
Pretty much.
Pretty close.
I know Ewan McGregor says it in like every prequel movie. And I'm sure Han says it in.
Yeah, it originated in
Han says it a lot.
Actually, no. In Solo, he says, "I have a good feeling about this." They kind of flipped it on its head. So I think Solo might be the only. Yeah, it might be the only one that it's not set in.
Huh. So mine is I got a bad feeling about this. Geiger, how about you?
I would say hello to my little friend is probably the biggest
Say
one.
hello to my little.
To my little friend. That's from Toy Story, isn't it?
Scarface is from. Remember Step Brothers when he does the 3-wood? Say hello. That's from Scarface. He's like, shut the fuck up.
It's Derek.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest ones, man. And it's one of the greatest scenes ever in movie history too. Where he's doing all that blow and just blowing the shit out of the cartel.
I mean, I know people that have never seen Scarface that, of course, know that quote is from there. I'll be back is maybe like.
I think it's more important that people know that, but don't know that it's from Scarface. Like that's what makes it so good.
Yeah, that's the true testament. Banner, what do you got? Can you top "I'll be back" or say hello to my little friend?
Probably not, but one that I like and I have a couple. One that I always say is "That's pretty sick, Chubbs." I've been saying that for years.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah,
I'm Happy Gilmore. But another sorry. Another one I think that anytime somebody like says something and there's no answer, they always go Bueller?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Bueller?
I think that one just kind of annoys me now because I feel like old people just do it when you are trying to ignore them. It's like you're not Ben Stein. It's not funny. But maybe I've just had a bad experience with it.
Maybe.
I don't think it's fair that ruins the line. All right. Before we let the people go for our 85th episode, anything we want to leave them with? Banner, your last thoughts?
No. I think I'm good.
You never have anything to say. Like this is a golden opportunity.
The one time I had something to say, you guys made fun of me.
What was the thing you wanted to say?
Don't forget to spade and neuter your cats and dogs.
Yeah, because that's not your thing to say.
You asked if I had anything that I wanted to say. You didn't say it had to be my thing.
Plus, I don't even really think you believe in that message. Like, you don't.
No, I truly do believe in that message. I adopt all of my animals.
All right, Geiger.
And rescue them.
As a big WWE fan, I've bashed WWE a lot, but I will just say that Bray Wyatt and his Fiend character that has finally debuted last week at SummerSlam is one of the greatest fucking character developments I've seen in WWE since maybe the summer of Punk. And I can't even think way back when. I mean, the storytelling they did is as good as what they did in Sting and WCW with the NWO, and it's totally brought me back in.
Damn.
I'm just hoping they don't fuck it up, but it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in WWE creative. And I shit on them a lot, but I'm going to tip my hat. It is fucking brilliant what they're doing with Bray Wyatt right now.
Are you still on the train of that other wrestling league that was forming?
Yeah, because AEW, I think they will tell more better stories. WWE, if they would do that, they used to do that to like 5 or 6 of their talent. They're just doing it with 1 now because all the other wrestlers they have, in my opinion, are just stale, like their characters and stuff. But what they did with Bray Wyatt is like, he's like the new Undertaker right now. He is fucking amazing.
That's pretty fucking cool.
And I'm on board.
All right. The only thing I'll leave you guys with is something that I'm very passionate about, and that's spay and neuter your pets, guys. Come on.
No, but
all right.
No, that's...
For Banner, I'm doing the closing. Have a little fucking respect. For the mad scientist, Brian Banner, and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Type in Bro Force Squad. That's 3 separate words on Letterboxd, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. You can find all of our stuff there. Subscribe to us and follow us on all those places. And check out everything that we post. I update it every time something new comes out on our website, broforcesquad.com. Last thing we dropped was our Mean Girls movie commentary for Back to School. I don't think it's one you guys want to miss. I'll put it that way. Till next time, I'll just
Geiger
say...
missed it and he was on it.
He's like, my body was present, but my soul was definitely elsewhere.
I don't understand. No problem. It's great podcasting, right?